Good evening, everyone. We are here with yet another session. Today, we are here with Dr. Mitesh Banthia, and we are going to discuss so many things about the spa industry. And first, I would like to take an honor to introduce today's speaker, Dr. Mitesh, and he is a BNYS graduate from SDM 1993 batch, and he has covered all the subjects of naturopathy and yoga, and he has been there for Chief Medical Officer in the Sri Guru Ganesha Nature Cure Hospital in Chennai from 1999 to 2002. And he has been as spa manager in British Virgin Islands 2002 to 2003. And following that, he was a spa director in from 2004 to till 2020 in three spas: Premkamal Spas Limited, British Virgin Island, and the spa at Limerick Bay. So with this, and he has also been there for All India Radio for one show which named as Naturopathy and its role in treating diseases. And again, one more interviewed broadcast video in different topics, which is raw diet, natural and uncooked food, and naturopathy. So with this small introduction, sir, your journey is too big for us to understand. I would like to have you on our platform. It's our pleasure to being with you and to learn from you today in this session. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you for having me. Namaste to everyone. And as Dr. Bhavit introduced, my name is Dr. Mitesh Banthia. I'm of the 5th batch of SDM. And my father was a naturopath. So I come from that background. And so after graduating in 1999, I did get into clinical practice. I had a small 10-bedded hospital in Chennai, which was originally operated by my father, but he expired 6 months before I graduated. So basically, I restarted when I completed the course, and I practiced it for about 3 years before foraying into spa industry in 2002. But when I did go out, I did leave back a running hospital by employing my juniors and attenders and all of that. So even when I was not there, the hospital continued to operate for about 1.5 years or 2 years, I would say. And then due to some family reservations, we had to shut it down because my brother said that I can run it if I am here. And it wasn't looking that great for me at that point of time. It was more important for me to be in the British Virgin Islands into spa industry. And so we had to shut that down. And ever since I entered spa industry, there has been no looking back. And frankly speaking, the main intention with which I left India and went into spa industry was to make a decent amount of money, bring it back to India, invest it in a bigger hospital. That was the original intention. But life has different plans than what we foresee, and it just didn't happen. And I completely got busy with the spa industry itself, and I kept on expanding. When I started to work. I first started into spa industry as an employee, and then eventually I bought the same spa where I worked, and then kept expanding. So at one point, I had spas in 3 different countries, and this is for a person who didn't know at that point of time what a visa meant. I didn't know what a visa was. I was about to board a flight for Paris without having a visa, as a matter of fact. But it didn't matter. Life has its own ways. Where if it's in your destiny makes ways for you as well. Well, you have to put in your effort as well, and then destiny also makes way for you. So at one point of time, I had spas in 3 different countries. And among all the different spa businesses that I've operated, I must admit, I failed in one. All others are successful so far. So St. Martin is a country. That's where I could not turn the spa into profit. So I shut it down. But the British Virgin Islands and the US one, which is in Hawaii, they're running fine. And currently, I'm sort of leading a retirement life. I've made enough. I've done enough. I feel I don't need to work more to make more money. Without working, whatever I'm getting is more than my needs. And I'm loving my family life. I'm practically a homemaker at the moment. So that's my current situation. That said, I do believe that I have some spa experience, which I'm very happy to share. Primarily for the viewers, I'm telling you, you have to decide which role you find yourself more comfortable in. There are two predominant roles. One is being an employee, the other is being an employer. And they're completely two different ball games. Completely. It's impossible to be both. You can't be working at a place and still be, I mean, it's possible. Practically it's possible, but it's just not for majority, it doesn't work that way. Let's put it that way. So you have to first make it clear whether you want to be an employee or an employer, first point. Second point, whether you want low risk or you're willing to take risks. And if you're willing to take risks, how much? For that matter, people feel being an employee, going into a job, is fairly secure. It's risk-free comparatively. But to be an employer, to be an owner, to be a businessman or a woman for that matter, it's full of risk because you have to invest, you have to put monies upfront. And what if you don't make it? What if you run into losses? Yes, I agree that there are risks involved in being a business owner. However, being an employee has its own risks as well. You can get fired anytime for any reason for that matter.
Definitely.
So it is there. Risks are there everywhere, but I agree that it's a low risk job. Job is fairly low risk. Being business owner is fairly high risk. But again, like everything in life, everything has its own pros and cons. Being an employer has its perks, but then it has its downsides too. And then being an employee has its perks, but it has its downsides too. I luckily I started Naturopathy Hospital on my own. My father's hospital, but I started afresh. So I started off as a sort of owner, employer role, so to say. But when I went to the spa industry, I went as an employee. I worked for 1.5 years as an employee. So I'm able to relate to employees when they have grievances, or how an employee thinks, how an employee feels, and so forth. And so for me, it's not been that difficult to understand where they are coming from. So it's a little bit easier for me to listen to them and be empathetic to their concerns, address them, and so forth. At this point, Bhavit, I would like to ask you, what would you like me to concentrate on? You want me to talk more as an employee basis or more as an employer basis? Or shall I just start, like how you can find jobs and so forth, and then talk about being an employer? I can talk on both sides.
So first of all, I would like to say that it means a lot to differentiate between these two terms, which we are not aware most of the time. Either we are on which side, and that is very much important. As you are mentioning, that which side you want to be, first you should be very clear, and after being clear, yes, I think so we would be able to make a correct decision, as you said. And that's what
very correct.
I think. Yeah, so you have understood in a very correct way in the right time, and that's how the journey has started, being an employee of your own. So I would have a chance to start with the employee first, because that's a big journey of yours, and then come to the employer. So that would make a sense for all of us.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So basically, as you mentioned, yes, once you make a decision, what role you find yourself more comfortable in, then there are a series of steps that you take to accomplish where you want to be, to reach where you want to reach. So let's start with being employee. Let's say there are BNYS graduates who would like to work in spa industry. Let me make it very clear that in spa industry, when you work as an employee, you're never ever going to get a sort of a atmic satisfaction, a soul satisfaction that you get when you practice as a naturopathic doctor. Because I've done that too, and I've done that very well to my heart's content. When I practiced for 3 years, I've treated everything from coma to cancer. I've had hospital owners from UK coming to get treatment from my hospital, directly flying into my hospital to get treatments and so forth. So I had very, very rich experience within those 3 years. And that has been the most fulfilling part as far as my role as a naturopathic doctor is concerned. But that did not help me financially, which is what forced me to rethink what I was doing. And I said, you know what? The amount of effort I'm putting here, if I put the same amount of effort in abroad, in any role for that matter, I think I would be able to make more and save more and do a better job here. So that was a starting point. Now, for those who want to be working in a spa industry, I would say the easiest role, currently speaking, as of today, the easiest role to get into a spa industry is that of a massage therapist. I know many BNYS doctors feel very insulted the moment you tell them that that's the job available. They feel, but I'm a doctor, I train attenders to do it. That's fine. You know, it's respected. It's your choice at the end of the day. But I'm just telling you what the market is at the world level. All over the world, in spa industry, 60 to 75% of the income is from massages, yoga, acupuncture, chiropractic adjustments, and all other therapies. Yes, there is a demand for those too, but they are a small fraction compared to the majority of the fraction. Now, as BNYS doctors, we are overqualified for spa industry. I've told this on every platform I've spoken. We are overqualified, and hence we are a very hot commodity for any spa owner, for any spa in the world. So if you want to be an employee, I would suggest start looking for jobs online and have a nicely made CV, very professionally done. Even if it requires that you pay some amount to somebody, get all the English spelling mistakes corrected, all the typos corrected, not even a comma or full stop mistake should be there. Get a nice, decent, crisp CV, not with lot of Ramayana in it, like, not too much of unnecessary stuff in it. Just get what is required, necessary, and also have a covering letter. Have a CV in one Word document, another Word document, have a covering letter prepared with nice, 1 or 2 paragraphs maximum. And let's not talk about the money part. Do not put what your expectation is and so forth, because every country is different. And so you may underrate yourself or you may overprice yourself. So don't put the money part in that. So prepare a CV, prepare a covering letter, and start searching for jobs online religiously. I used to search 1 hour every day on internet every single day, and I don't know how many jobs I applied for, honestly speaking. I applied for unlimited ones. And firstly, I would suggest you to try to apply for the post of a spa director, because we are qualified for it. As I said, even for that, we are overqualified. So spa director position, if that's available. Spa manager position is under a spa director. Try for that next. And if that is not available, then I would say go for spa supervisor. Fourth, I would say go for a spa therapist. Fifth one, I would say go for massage therapist. Sixth one, I would say go for yoga instructor. In a spa or wellness center or fitness center, or even in yoga studios, if they're willing, if there is a job available, if they're willing to employ you, because quite a few of them have gone out. I don't know if you know, but Dr. Balan was one of my juniors from SDM. I forgot his name, but Dr. Anand from Raipur, even he's been to Phuket and all that, doing yoga. And if I'm not wrong, Dr. Abhishek has yoga centers. He's now a yoga. Yeah. You're aware, right?
Yeah, we have done session with him, Dr. Abhishek.
Awesome. So he runs, several centers and so forth. So I would say if you want to make money, definitely scope is more outside of India. Primarily, let me make that very clear. Not that there's no scope here. It's just easier outside if you want to make money. and if you want to really get maximum returns for the skill set that you have. So in spa, health center, wellness center, gyms, and so forth, you can apply for all these sorts of jobs. And my very and a personal recommendation and suggestion, not recommendation, sorry, suggestion is, do not feel bad or lowly for doing massage or acupuncture or yoga session or whatever. I personally don't understand why people feel that way. But my suggestion is, get an entry, get your foot in, get your foot in any role that you can find. And guess what? Once you're in, the manager or the owner there will see you for what you're really good at. And if he's a sane person, just sane person, he will catapult you to the correct position, because he knows that he can extract more out of you by putting you as a spa manager rather than getting you to be in a massage therapy session. Are you able to get that?
Definitely.
That's very important. So just get your foot in. And I'm telling you this because I'm telling you without any exaggeration. I applied for a job as a porter. You know what a porter is?
I have no idea.
Coolie. Porter. Because that was the position available in a yoga studio in London. The moment I saw that opening, I said, you know what? This is the only opening he has. Yoga, a porter. And he said that the requirement was you should be able to lift a 30-pound, which is approximately 15 kilos box. They wanted somebody who can fulfill their online purchase requirements, pack up the yoga blocks and mat and whatnot, belt and etc., pack it and send it out or whatever. My thought immediately when I saw that ad was, you know what? I don't care. Let me just get in. Once I get in, he will see whether that is the best use of me for him. To use me as a packaging person and this sort of thing, or to just take, because I knew in the heart of my hearts that I'm going to make tons. I know my capacity, I know my ability, I know what I can do, and I know what my skill sets are and how much my skill sets will be accepted by the public. And so I knew of all of that. So I felt very confident. If I can get the job, even if it means like a porter in a yoga studio, I don't care. I just need to get in. And I know that the manager will simply shift me within a week's time or 2 weeks' time. As soon as he comes to know what all I can do, he would put me into another position right away. And if it doesn't, it's okay. I can always resign the job. You see my point? You can always resign the job. Even if you get in as a massage therapist, even if you get in as a spa therapist, you're not happy. Step out after 6 months. But I'm telling you that if you have the substance in you if you're managerial material, within 6 months maximum, you will be catapulted to that position. So nothing to feel bad about it. So if you want to be an employee, that's what I would suggest. Prepare a nice CV and all that, and just apply jobs everywhere around the world, wherever you get it. And 99%, you will be getting a decent job. You'll be going outside of the country. They take care of all the processes, visa processes and work permit processes, food, accommodation, taxes, everything is all taken care of. You wouldn't have any major issue. The question is, at the end of the day, how much do you save? You may make 5 lakhs, but then if you end up paying 2 lakhs for accommodation, another 1 lakh for food, and another 1 lakh for taxes, you end up saving 1. In my own head, it's still a good deal. Even if you make, people get emotionally bogged down when they come to know, oh, rent is 2 lakhs, oh, tax is 1 lakh. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how much the taxes are. Doesn't matter how much the food costs. Doesn't matter how much the rent is. What matters is what remains with you at the end of the day. after the whole month is over, after all the expenses taken care of, what stays with you is what matters. People tell me, hey, you know what? Majority of the jobs in India, they give you free accommodation, they give you free food, they give you X, Y, Z. My point is, awesome. How much do you send to your bank every month? How much do you save? 25,000, 30,000, 50,000? It's okay. If you're happy, it's okay. Ultimately, what matters is your peace and happiness. If you're at peace and if you're happy with that, go for it. I wanted more. Let me be very clear. I had needs. I had some greeds, but I have a lot of needs. And so I wanted more, and I chose a path that worked for me. And that's the kind of psychological, I would say, mental energy that I supplied to the cosmic energy, saying, I'm ready. I'm ready for anything and everything. The only two things I'm never ready is to compromise on my self-dignity and self-respect. Those two things I never compromise. Other than that, I'm ready for any work. When I first went to work as an employee, let me tell you, where I worked, that spa, there was one manager and one employee, just myself. Every single day, it was my job to sweep the spa, mop the spa, and even to clean the toilet. Every single day, I had zero issues. And for that matter, I have zero issues even today. Even though I've reached a point where I employ people to do all those jobs, if I have to do it, I have zero issues with that. I was an employee, I did all my works, plus the first 3 months, whatever they told me, I did. They told me do massages, I did. Body scrubs, wraps, I did. The manager, she did try her best. She went to all of the major resorts in British Virgin Islands and told, I have a yoga and naturopathy doctor with me, and I want you guys to try his yoga for free. We offered a lot of free classes in all the different resorts in British Virgin Islands just to get people educated, about yoga classes and so forth. And today, I can tell you, it's because of those seeds that we put in 2002. Today, all the major resorts in British Virgin Islands have yoga as their offering. They have their own yoga instructor. They call our spa whenever they need extra hands. But the fact is that they all have yoga classes available at their resorts today. So she tried hard to promote my skills, my services, and the first 3 months, what I did was very important to note is stay calm, quiet, and study. Just study. Just try to understand the place, the people, the laws. I started reading the labor code. I read the entire labor code there to understand, what the employees' rights are, duties are. Completely, I had a lot of free time on my hands. A lot of free time. So I utilized the time in studying everything. And after 3 months, I put a proposal to my boss. I said, for the sake of privacy, I won't use his name, but I said, sir, I sense a lot of business here. There's a lot of work here. Why don't you employ one more person? And he said, by that time, he's of my age. By that time, we became actually very good friends in 3 months. So much so, he actually started taking private yoga from me at 4 a.m. every day, coming to my house, and started also on being on a vegetarian diet and so forth, fasting once a week on fruit juices only. He was impressed by me, my lifestyle and all that. So he wanted to emulate it and practice it. I told him, let's employ one more person. He said, done. Because he knew if I'm talking sense. He said, okay, we'll do it. The manager convinced him not to. The manager said, Mr. X, this fellow is a young fellow. I was 27 years old at the time. He said, he's very enthusiastic, young blood, and he's raring to go, but he's not being practical. He's barely making enough money for himself. At that time, I was making around $1,800. And she said, if you get another employee, there's only X amount of work. It's going to get divided between 2 people. He's just going to make $900 or $1,000 a month. So she came from that background. from, she was a spa owner in UK, in London for 10 years before moving here to be a spa manager. So she convinced him saying, I have plans, I'm slowly improving, sales is slowly growing up. In 3 months, we'll add an employee. So she convinced him and he said, all right, madam, we'll do as you said. And then he told me after 3 months, we'll get one more employee. Now, this is very interesting and important to note. The determination that I have always carried in my heart has been too strong. I'm extremely hard-headed to some people. I'm hard-headed to some. I'm even overconfident. But you can say I'm determined. Jiddi keh sakte ho, junoon keh sakte ho. But I was so determined. I told my boss, okay, here's the deal. You sign the papers. Now, you get an employee. Now, I take the responsibility of covering his minimum wages. You are worried about paying his minimum wages, whether you'll make enough money or not. And listen to this deal very carefully, because it's very important, because I've always used my mind such that I bring out formulas that is win, win, win formula. Nobody should lose. Everybody should be at the winning end. Only then your proposals will be accepted. So I told him, for you, I'm the only employee, correct? All the work that comes to the spa, I do it first, correct? When I am doing treatments, if there's a couple that comes in, they want a couples massage, the manager used to jump in. Only when I'm busy and a second person walks in and they're not willing to wait until I become free. Am I very clear? If I'm confusing, let me know. Am I very clear?
No, it's clear. That's why I'm going to continue.
Okay, so first client I treat, second client at the same time the manager treats. I told my boss, if there is a third client at the same time that's unwilling to wait, that's when I'll get that new employee that work. Until then, the new employee stays on the side. As far as you are concerned, the employee doesn't exist. But I know that there's so much business around that we are going to get a lot of work coming in as soon as we start letting people know and start doing some advertisement that you'll be forced to give the work to the third person, because first in line, second in line are already occupied and busy in session. Right? Now, so he will be the third in line. And again, we are going to try to convince the clients to wait until the first and second get free. All right. If they're unwilling to wait, only then we will employ the third person. So worst comes to worst, what happens? You're obligated to pay him the minimum wages, which is $900 a month. I'm going to pay that from my pocket. That's my risk. I am taking that risk. But now, if you have enough, if more work starts coming in and the third in line is brought in, what I told him, now listen carefully, what I told him is, from that person's income, I will give you 35%, I will retain 65%. Because with me, it was the other way around. I used to get 35%, my boss used to keep 65%. So that will continue. I said, I'll be your employee, I will work for 35% only. Nothing is changing. I'm just adding extra business, just adding extra money that's coming in. So for the third employee, whatever money that person makes, if at all, if he makes money, I will give you 1/3 of it. I will retain 65%. From that, I will pay him his salary, whatever that is. At that point, my boss said, if you can take that risk, I can also take that risk. I'll sign the papers. So he signed the papers. He overruled the manager's opinion. She was really angry, upset, and whatnot. But guess what? He signed the papers. We got a third employee. And within 3 to 6 months, we had 5 employees. All of them were busy. The manager was so upset with me. I told her, look, I'm not after your job. I'm not after your job. Your job is secured. I will make sure that you are secured. But do not stop me. I have left my home. I have left my comfort zone. I love my country. I love my people. I love my family and friends. I love my lifestyle back in home, but I've stepped out for a clear purpose. And my purpose is very clearly and very solid. I'm out here to make money, and I'm not letting anyone stop me. If you stop me, I'll have to bypass you. Please don't do that. I spoke to her very patiently. She was angry and shouting. I never shouted. I just said, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, and then she resigned the job. After a month or so, automatically I became the manager and so forth. But the business took off to a firing start. It just took off. We made so much money in 1.5 years that people now wanted to buy that spa, but they wanted to buy the spa with me. And my boss said, spa is for sale, Mitesh is not for sale, because he and I had plans to take that money, invest in another spa, or expand into other countries and so forth. And another important thing to note, I was with him for 1.5 years initially as an employee. I got so many opportunities. Other spas wanting to pay me twice and thrice the money, wanted to come and work for them. And for everyone, I said, no. I said, my boss gave me this opportunity and I have signed a 1-year work permit. I will not do anything that will make him feel sad. I will not. And I was very loyal to him for 1.5 years. After that, on a small issue, I resigned my job, went back to India for 1 year, continued in my hospital, and then came back to buy the spa because he wanted to sell it, and I was willing to buy it at that point of time. So that's how it started. I mean, employee aspect, and then slowly, I was a semi-employer in the manager position, and then he wanted to sell the business. I bought the business. So now let's move on to the employer part. Is that okay? If you have any questions about the employee aspect, ask me now.
First of all, I would like to say that the clarity of your work was very clear. So one thing which we as a student, or whenever we are stepping out from our colleges, we are not clear what we are going to do. What is our responsibility? And we always look for money, but where is, like, if you are giving me 10,000 rupees and somebody is offering me after 3 months 15,000, I'll jump to 15,000, but I'll not be loyal to the first person who gave me the job. And that's how we lose that connectivity from the first person. So the first person will not call me again for that job, for sure.
True.
So, and that's how I have seen in your work that you have stood for your work. It took time, but when it took time, it was worth it for that. And that's how the learning would be for me and for everyone, that's how you should work. You should not jump so fast for your just 10 to 15,000 rupees, because you're losing a person which can potentially give you a big amount of money. So with this learning, I have one doubt, that everyone in the industry where you're working and where you are working as an employer, why we should do this? That is a very small question they will ask me also, that why I should work as a therapist or a porter. You started with a very small thing, but you were psychological, very trained for yourself, and you were very strong, but 90% of students are not in that zone. So they need someone to be giving some training, or some kind of effort should be there for those people. And what would be your suggestion for like a one line or so they can rotate in their mind every day? No, I should do for this. So what would be your suggestion for them?
Very simple. First of all, as we started this discussion this morning, the first thing was, have clarity. What do you want in life? What is it that you want? Khana pina sona hai? Easy available. If that's what you want, it's available. Ask yourself what you want. I'm telling you, my real dream was to have 1,000-bedded hospital, a huge hospital, and a college associated with it. I come from a traditional naturopathy background, Pudukkottai Lakshman Sharma style, 6 p.m. hip bath, and you go for a brisk walk for 20 minutes, or even take a blanket and lie down for 20 minutes. I belong to that minority of naturopaths. I do not belong to the majority, 95%, that believes in giving boiled food to the patient. I do not. I don't. When I treated patients, I treated with 100% raw and natural diet. not even hot water. So what you want, have clarity. Okay. I was very clear. I'm stepping out to make money. All right. There are people who are stepping out for experience. So there are people who said, they're going on cruise job is the best job. If you want to have a free paid for vacation, a paid vacation, cruise job is the best. Go for it. You can earn money. You can visit a lot of places as a tourist and get to know the different culture and people and so forth. What is it that you want? I wanted to make money. And because I wanted to make money, I was very clear that money is available more outside than right now. It's better. Situations are better than 20 years ago. When I stepped out of the country 20 years ago, it was much more difficult. Today it's much more easier to make decent money here also, but it is still easier outside. And how much, for the same amount of effort, right? Same amount of effort, you can make more outside than here. Savings is also more outside than here. So I was very clear and that I wanted to make money. And if I'm not wrong, a lot of BNYS doctors would want to have their own clinic or hospital, their own OP setup. Even simple OP setup, you have to pay rent to a place. Do it. If that's working out, do it. But otherwise, if you have enough money, buy your own place, have your own OP setup, whatever. But for me, for a person like me, I started from not zero. I started from minus. For my first flight, I borrowed from 3 people. My financial background is extremely terrible where I came from. So I didn't have the luxury of starting, on my own. It wasn't easy. Yes, my father's hospital was there, but again, remember, it was my father's hospital, not mine. I did not pay him to buy it. So I was supposed to pay a rent, for that building. So anyways, coming to the point, I was clear. I wanted to make money. And my suggestion is for people who want to be independent in life. You want to have your own clinic or your own hospital or whatever, step out of India, make some solid money, invest it back in India and settle down. A lot of people are doing it. And that's easy. That's the easiest way. You don't have to be under any sort of parental pressure or anybody's pressure. For men, parental pressure; for women, marital pressure. You need to get married or whatever. Go out of the country for 2 to 3 years. Automatically, you escape the pressure to get married soon and so forth. Go out, make some money, get some experience, save some money, come back, start your own OP or IP, whatever you want to do. I was clear. I wanted to make money, so I stepped out. And because I was very clear, I had no problem in doing any job, but in my field, a field that's related to me. Because remember, I have an ulterior motive, a positive ulterior motive, which is to excel in my own field. I want to come up in my own field. And it was not difficult. I'm telling you, it's very easy. It is very easy. You just have to step in. Give yourself an opportunity. Give yourself an opportunity. Make and get inside, and then try to look for better opportunity. Move on within the same industry. Become manager, like within the same spa. Become a manager or whatever, supervisor or whatever. If you want to. Again, if you ask me a question, why should I do this? Because you want it. If you want to make money, do it. You don't want to make money, then you can do, or you don't want to make that much money, I would say. Here also you make money, but if you don't want to make that much, it's up to you. It's really what you want to do in your life and how you want to see your life progressing. It's up to you.
So that's how we should be, and we should start our journey with the first thing. What I understood is clarity is required, whatever you do.
Absolutely.
And if you have that, I do not think so something bigger we cannot achieve. So we have been restricted ourselves that we cannot do. So first we start with the restriction. I've seen many students, so they say we cannot do, they know much better than us. So when you say this, I think that is the boundary which we limit ourselves. And if we break that, it means for everyone. And if we break that, so as I said, you are our inspiration, but at the same time, we should be clear to reach that inspiration also. So
I
that
really
one, yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, so one part of it was really interesting for me for understanding that porter to a spa director is a very big journey of yours. It was not easy, I think so, in many terms.
It wasn't difficult either. Frankly speaking, it wasn't difficult at all. Actually, I mean, what's the big deal?
Yeah,
I'm telling you, when I started the hospital, I would soak the mud, make the mud pack myself, apply it. What's the problem? What's the big deal in it? All you have to do is wash your hands after that. Why people feel like, ye chote aadmi ka kaam hai. My parents taught me very clearly. One of the things that said that, by doing work, your hands won't get chiseled away.
that's
They're
true.
not going to get shrunken. So no work makes you a small man. It's your thought, your attitude makes you small or big. What's the big deal? I still don't get it, actually. That's why I'm laughing. I still don't get it. What work is small and what work is big. Anyway, as long as you enjoy it, as long as you enjoy it, I was happy. I was happy making the mud packs. My first attender to my hospital was brought to me by my patient. My patient said, Doctor Saab, you need this. And I know a guy who can assist you. And so forth, because I was so busy from morning taking yoga classes for the people who are coming from outside. My IP and OP was running both simultaneously. So yoga classes, acupuncture and all that. I used to end up brushing my teeth at 2 p.m., not being able to eat food until then and so forth. When it started, new. So that's how it all started. So no work is an issue. Anyways, so let's move on to the employer part.
Yes.
This is for the minority. Majority in the world are employees. Minority group is employers in any industry. So it is more riskier, no doubt about it, but the rewards are also very high. You can never have that sort of satisfaction and pleasure in life while being an employee. Being an employer, the amount of satisfaction you get is far higher than you get as an employee. In terms of money and all that, yes, there's a good chance you may make much more. There's a good chance you end up making the same amount of money you used to make as an employee. It's okay, but at least you have your own freedom. You can choose to walk out or shut down or take off whenever you want to. So for those who want to be employers, for those who want to be spa owners, I would say, like, first of all, start with research. And the easiest way is to find a resort or a hotel where they don't have a spa, or they have a spa, but they're in the process of changing the spa owners because they're not happy with the current owners. That is the easiest and the best way, because you have what we call in business parlance as captive audience. You have inbuilt clientele already. And so you don't have to struggle much for your survival. Your survival is sort of guaranteed. And you just have to put a little bit more effort to get more clientele, and then you make a lot more. That's the easiest way. And how to do that? You have to do your research. Whichever place you want to be, whether it's within India, Delhi, Bombay, Calcutta, wherever you want to be, or abroad, London, New York, Paris, wherever you want to go, choose city and go to the government website. In abroad, there are governmental websites where they tell you which new hotel is coming up, which brand, how many rooms, and so forth. And you can approach them as well, saying, again, make a separate CV for them, because that should be with the employer orientation, saying, I am a spa. I'm a yoga and naturopathic physician by qualification, but by vocation, I'm a spa entrepreneur. And I'm looking for opportunities to run a spa. And if you're interested, I can make myself available for your interview anytime and so forth, and things like that. And look for hotels which have lot of rooms. Do not go for small hotels. My business experience tells me that I will not go for anything below 3-star hotel, point number one. And even if it's 3-star, I want lot of rooms. If it is 5-star, lesser rooms is also okay because the client's affordability is higher. So in terms of dollars, because my experience is with US dollars,
Yes.
both in British Virgin Islands and US, both national currencies, both the places are US dollars. So in terms of US dollars, I would say that when I contact the hotel managers, I have some standard set of questions I ask them. Number one, how many rooms do you have? Number two, what is your average occupancy all around the year? And I want 75% or above. Anything below that, I'm not interested. If your occupancy is less than 75% on an average, yearly average, then I'm not interested. If it is 75% and above, it's a tick mark. If it's 3-star and above, it's a tick mark. If it's 3-star, I want at least 350 rooms. Anything less than that, I'm not interested. Am I clear?
Yes.
Now, and if it is 5-star, if it is a 5-star resort, then I'm okay. Even 150 rooms, good enough for me. Good enough. I'll make the cut. I'll make as much as I am setting out myself for. Now, most of these resort managers, as part of the interview, will ask you, how much rent can you pay? And I always throw the ball back in their court. How much you want? You tell me how much you want. And I'll see if I can afford that much. And there are 3 ways of getting a contract done. Rental aspect of the contract. Either you pay a flat rent, either monthly $3,000 flat, or they may say $3 to $5, depending upon the busyness of the space, how reputed that place is. Anywhere between $3 to $5 per square foot is normal. That's a normal business rent. So they may charge you based on square foot rent, and they have extras like common area maintenance and all of that. And those are all, you have to do your complete study on that. And I wouldn't want to go for more than $3, including CAM, if I'm a new person. I now have spas, I have a steady source of income. I can afford to lose some. I can take bigger risk. So for people who are starting afresh, I would not recommend that. Do not go for an arrangement where your rental is more than $3 a square foot, including CAM and all of the expenses. Whatever expenses you want, put it all in that. But otherwise, I'm not interested. It's more riskier that way. So that's one thing. Square foot based rent, flat lump sum amount rent. Third, none of these. Only percentage based, which is the best arrangement. If you can get the manager to accept a 10 to 12% rent of the gross revenue, that's awesome. That's the best. Because if you make just $1,000, you just pay him $120. If his resort is so terrible that there's no person coming inside there, or all the people coming in there are really cheap and lower economic level where they can't afford spa treatments and all that, then that's all you end up making is $1,000 a month. You pay only $120 in rent. If you can get them for a flat rent, that's the best option. Majority will settle with a combo. They also want to safeguard their basis, so they'll take a base rent from you, like a flat 1,000 or 2,000, something like that, and then they'll take a 7 to 10%. Now, you have to do your calculation and make sure that you're staying within that level of $3 a square foot kind of thing, or 10 to 12% of your gross revenue, what you think you can make. So that calculation, you have to do that yourself and figure out, as long as you're close to that for what he's asking, percentage plus the flat amount together, as long as it's within your budget, then I think it's good to go. But always make sure that you have a 3-month clause that you can sign out, saying if it's not going to work for you, then you can inform them 3 months in advance and you should be able to leave. Sometimes they bind you up for 3 years and 5 years and all that. Don't go for it. Quite a few times they'll say, I have a space, but you have to build out yourself. Again, don't get bogged down. Say, okay, look at it. Just don't say, I don't have money, I can't do it. Don't say that. When they say you have to build a spa, there is a terminology called as tenant improvement, TI. Whatever investment you make, they will reimburse you 100% in 99% of cases. How they will reimburse you? You have your bills ready and they will give you one check. It doesn't work that way. After you've built the spa, whatever is your rental agreement, you don't have to pay them the rent until you've covered your investment, because you are putting money on their property. You are making improvements. You are adding value to their property. So they will most probably agree to this arrangement. You may have to borrow money. I borrow money at 15% interest per annum. And I told my manager that whatever investment I end up spending, that plus 15% interest, 115% is what I want to be adjusted towards the rent. He agreed. They may not always agree. They may agree for 100%, but do not go for anything below 50%. That's what I would say. Your risk cannot be more than 50% of the investment. But if the opportunity is really, really, really lucrative, then at the most agree that they have to reimburse at least 50%. But if they say, no, all investment is yours and rent also you have to pay, walk away. That's a joke. It's not going to work. Second thing, so that is for, to get into spas newly. The other way to do it, again, very easy way, is to buy a running spa. And there are two kind of spas: A, making profit; A, making loss; B, making loss. So those which are profitable, obviously they will be very expensive, because I'm making a profit. Why would I sell it? But I'll sell it if I'm going to get a premium for it. And I'm okay with that. That's not a bad philosophy. There are some people who believe in buying loss-making spa. They feel they can somehow turn it into profit and all that. But if they're making loss, there is some issue with that. Either the locality is not good, the clientele is not rich enough, the hotel is not busy enough. There are issues. So for me, my philosophy, I prefer to pay premium, but to buy a profit-making spa. But I'm not averse to buying a loss-making spa either, as long as I know, from my research, I'm able to figure out why is it under the profit levels. Why is it making loss? Once I figure that out, and if I feel that I can cover it up, I'll go for that too. I mean, that's better, in fact, because you get a spa for less money and you can make more profits that way. So buying spas is another opportunity. Again, when you search for spa for sale in a hotel, spa for sale in a resort, that's better than to buy a spa on the street by itself. Even though it's okay, but this is better. So buying a spa and operating it is a very easier way and very smart way, because you have everything ready to go. Everything is ready to go. Most spas show profit on paper. When you ask them for financials, they say, I'm a profit running spa. And I say, okay, show me your last 3 years, the immediate last 3 years financials, they'll show it. And most of the financials that I have studied, what I've found, how they sort of cheat people is they don't show the salary paid to the owner who is working the spa as a manager. That's what they're showing as profit. That's not profit. Real profit is when you run a business, you don't work. You sit at home, okay? You employ a manager to manage, you employ employees to do the work, and you employ all the other supporting staff, accountant, chartered accountant, and the handyman to fix up your issues and all that. You employ all these people. There should be enough income to pay all the expenses to the resort, to the manager, employees, and whatever is left over, that's your real profit. If you have to work, it's okay, work, but you have to be paid as an employee. If you're working, do not discount your work for free. A lot of people make that mistake. Rate yourself something nominal, reasonable, $15 an hour, $20 an hour, $50 an hour, whatever that is, okay? But if you're working, You make sure you get paid for the amount of hours you work for the business. After that, if there is anything left over, that's business profit. Treat the business as a separate entity. The business is a separate human. The business has to make a profit. If the business doesn't make a profit, the business cannot survive. And therefore, all the employees, nobody can survive employment. They'll survive their life, but they won't survive their employment. And I would say try to plan your finances such that there has to be a minimum profit of 10% in the business after all expenses are gone, including paying yourself for whatever role you're playing in the business. There has to be minimum 10% profit. That'll help you to, as a buffer, if there are shocks in the business, that 10% will help you absorb the shock. Or if not, if you're lucky, there are no shocks in the business, no unpleasant surprises, you can build up the 10% as a corpus to expand into another one. So 10% profit margin has to be kept. And you have to figure out, industry standard for how to price a spa is 1.5 years of 1.5 years of gross revenue, or 3 years of net profit is normally one commonly as an accepted way of calculating a business price. So, because if there are people who want to do it, they may come back asking me, well, how do I know if this price is correct? When you ask their financials, check their net profit. Net profit into 1.5 times yearly net profit. 1.5 times is a acceptable price. 1.5 times of gross revenue, whatever is the total dollars coming in, 1.5 times of that price is accepted, and 3 years of net profit. Whatever is the net profit, multiply that by 3. If that's the price is around that, then it's acceptable amount. As far as starting a business in a foreign country is concerned, again, it's much easier than in India, primarily because the issue of corruption, greasing the hands, if you want to use some good words, buttering the hands, or whatever you want to call it, that's all almost zero outside. And sitting here in India, you can start a business, own a business, run a business in the US. That's one of the beauties of US. They have provisions. They welcome, except citizens of 3 countries who they call as axis of evil, North Korea, Syria, and Iran. Except for citizens of 3 countries, they allow every citizen of every other country to do business in their country. You can. You just have to set it up that way. You have to hire an attorney, say, look, I'm an Indian citizen, I live in India, but here is a spa for sale that I'm interested in buying, but I don't have a work permit, so I cannot come to US. I don't even have a business or tourist visa to come there and have a look at it. I have nothing, but I still want to own it. Can I do it? She will guide you every step of the way. You have to register a company. You have to get a tax ID for the company. And then you will be registered yourself as the agent or owner, whatever terminology that country uses for identifying an owner. And then, you can do everything remote. It's just not as easy. That's all. But it's not impossible. It's not impossible. And after, running the business, of all the taxes paid and all that, you're allowed to take that money. You're allowed to bring that money back to India as well. But of course, after paying the taxes. But this particular way is the most difficult, extremely difficult. I don't think anybody does it that way. I'm currently doing it that way because my family is involved. My spas are running. It's 1 year since I have been back to India. I haven't stepped out yet, although I'm soon making a trip to both the places for some minor quick work, 1 week each place. But my family is involved and they're doing everything. They're at the managerial level and they're taking care of the businesses, and I don't have to do anything. So if you can have people who you can trust implicitly, that's a big plus. That way you can be a real owner and not work. And when I say not work, I don't mean to say just, sit at home, watch TV, eat food. No, what I mean to do is, you can sit back and do what you're good at, which is starting another business, look for more opportunities, create employment, and so forth. I'm a satisfied man. I'm a contented man. So I've decided I don't want any more. So I'm not doing that. But if you want, you can do that. I'm getting more than what I need. So I'm sitting quiet today. So coming to that point, how to start a business abroad, contact the government officials, trade license department or business license department, Google it. You'll get their links, email, tell them, they will guide you every step of the way. They'll ask you for your ID, whatnot, and they'll tell you, you have to register with the Social Security Department, you have to register with the Medical Insurance Department, and so forth. They will give you all details, because that's what the governments in the world want. They want people like you who can generate employment, because their income is taxes. They want people who will pay taxes. So they'll help you. So there are offices just for this purpose. And I have contacted offices in Germany when I wanted to expand there. I didn't go into it, but I did some research, and it was fantastic. They will guide you every step of the way. It's not difficult. Now, for US, which is one of the best places to do business, I was extremely lucky, but I can tell people the route that I took, because it can be of great help. Majority of the Indians go to US and work under H-1B visa. That is, after your BNYS, go to US, whichever master's degree you qualify for. I know once a junior who did hospital management, masters in hospital management and so forth. So whatever degree you qualify for in masters, go for it. Do it. With that, you become eligible to apply for H-1B in a special category. More chances that in lottery you may get it. H-1B is lottery based now. That's the easiest route that 95% people are taking. If you're rich, EB5 category is the best category. EB, E for elephant, B for boy, EB5. You have to invest X amount of money, employ X amount of people, and it's not difficult. Look for a good spa, a spa in 5-star resort that's making profit, that's for sale. That will be automatically in a price more than what the US wants you to invest. So you will definitely qualify for it. And the number of employees also will already be there for you in the spa that you're going to just absorb. So that's a very easy way. EB5 category if you have money. My way that I got done is one of the most powerful ways and one of the cheapest ways. And I was lucky I got it done. That way, I'll tell you what it is. It's called as L1A visa. L for London, L1A. A single line definition about L1A visa is intra-company transferee. Intra-company transferee. And basically, the eligibility criteria is you should have worked for the parent company in a foreign country for at least 1 year within the preceding 3 years in a managerial position, in an executive position. So what happened was, when I was working in the when I bought the spa in the British Virgin Islands, became the owner, I registered a company. If you ask me why I did that, answer is I don't know. I only know my common sense. If I'm running a business, I should have a company. They said you can get license on your own name. I could have applied the license like Mitesh Banthia is applying for license. They would have given a license for Mitesh Banthia. That's not what I did. I registered a company and I applied the license on the company's name, and I was running the business. So after 1.5 years, 2 years, 3 years, when I found an opportunity in Hawaii, a spa was for sale. I didn't even have my B1, B2 visa. I've never been to US at that point of time. In fact, my visa to visit my sister was rejected 2 times. 2 times. Even though I showed them, look, I'm very well settled in the British Virgin Islands. I've expanded. into British Virgin Islands and St. Martin. I have spa in 2 countries. I'm doing well. They still didn't give me even a tourist visa. And yet I am negotiating a spa to buy in Hawaii. Negotiation was done, price agreed, everything is fantastic. I made my 3rd attempt to get a visa. And I told this guy, look, the business, I want to buy this business. Here is a correspondence between the business owner's business broker, and myself. I just want to go there to have a look at it, physical location once. That's why I'm applying for the visa for. And he said, nothing wrong in being ambitious. He gave me a 2-year visa. I went to Hawaii, saw the business. I was surprised. I told the owner, why are you selling the business? It's such a fantastic business. Good location. It's in a hotel. And price is also, I said, it's very reasonably priced. You know, to me, it was cheap, actually. It was cheap. And so I didn't bargain at all. And my philosophy is I don't waste time in bargaining. If I find the price right, I take it. If it's not, I say, no, this is the right price, take it or leave it. No, no bargaining. Whatever is right price according to me, because I'm not trying to buy it at, really cheap, typical mentality of, trying to bargain and all that. That's not with me. Anyway, she said she's tired of it. She wants to sell it. I said, okay, fine. I said, we'll go for it. I signed the contract, agreement, everything, good to go. And then I said, okay, I'm going to employ a manager. I'm going back to British Virgin Islands because I don't have legal rights to work in that country. I can stay there for a few times. So sometime I can establish business. I can get the tax IDs done and everything. I did everything step by step as guided by the local accountant, local people. I used to hitch. In India, we call it ride or hikes, whatever we call, to save money. Stand on the road, take a hike, go to the tax department, fill up the form, say, it's a new business, I want a new tax ID. They're also very helpful, filled up the form, got the tax ID, and come back home, pure vegetarian, would cook my own food and so forth. No issues anywhere. My sister's husband actually discouraged me, saying, Mitesh, Hawaii is very expensive. BVI is almost zero tax place. This is a very taxing place. And it's going to be very hard and very difficult. Saying that it's not easy to make profit there. I said, it's okay. At the most, what happens? I fail. It's all right. At least I tried. Without trying, I'm guaranteed failing. I'm guaranteed failure. But at least I can try. And this opportunity was fantastic. I just couldn't let it go. So then they guided me, the owner, business owner who was selling it to me. She said, contact an immigration attorney. That's when I come to learn the terms immigration attorney. She said, contact an immigration attorney. They may find a way how you can, if at all there's a way you can actually live here and work here. I contacted them. She said, Mitesh, give me all your details. Unnecessary details also you give, if it is pertaining to you. I will see what I can do. I supplied to her all the details about me, the company, the BVI, the licenses, how many I have, what all I've done from when I was an employee, how many spas now, how much employment, how much revenue, all of that. And she got back to me saying, Mitesh, you are a perfect candidate for L1A visa. That's the day I realized how important and beneficial it was for me to have registered a company in the British Virgin Islands and getting the license on the company's name, not on my name. That proved game changer in the US. And I'm telling this to people now that if you really want to go to US and start your own business in the minimum expenditure manner, the best way is to have a company registered in any country, even if it's India. Majority of us, honestly speaking, I doubt, I'll be very frank here, I doubt majority of the BNYS graduates who are running their own independent show, whether as an IP or OP, how many of them are actually registered as a business, as a hospital, as a clinic or whatever? How many of them are registered? People don't want to spend money.
That's our bottom line issue. We want to make maximum, but we want to spend minimum. My philosophy is totally different. I just see making. I don't see expenditure much. I see it. So as long as it's within my budget, within my levels, my parameters, I do it. But I don't cry for spending money. Register a company here. All the attenders, all the doctors, whoever you employ, even a plumber, if he comes to fix your thing, pay him officially through your bank. Have a real, in all your incomes, throw it in the bank. All your expense, do only through the bank. Have a real business model for your clinic or hospital. That's the first step. Do that. Once you do that, you will become eligible in a few years. Actually, even after one proper year of accounting and submitting accounts to the government, whether you make profit or not, you become eligible to apply in the US for L1A. You say, what happens is, in my case also, this is what happened. Even though I'm the spa director in the British Virgin Islands, I signed my own letter saying that the company in the British Virgin Islands has decided to start a branch in the US, a subsidiary branch in the US, and that subsidiary branch will be 100% owned by the parent company. So I created those shares. I registered a local Hawaii company. Whatever the attorney told me, make 10,000 shares. Okay, I make 10,000 shares, and then say, okay, tell that all these shares are owned by the Premkamal Spas Limited in the BVI. I registered Premkamal Spas LLC in Hawaii, which is 100% owned by Premkamal Spas Limited in the BVI. So if you register a company here, and then after a few years, if you register a company in the US and call that company as a subsidiary of this Indian company, and make sure that the US company is 100% owned, all the shares are owned by this company, nowhere Mitesh is coming in the picture. Is it very clear? It's all company, entity, no human role. Wherever a human has to sign, okay, Mitesh's name is there, Mitesh will sign. Okay, so establish a company that way, and you can apply for your own L1A visa. It's a very powerful visa. It grants your spouse and the dependents full freedom to do whatever they want from day one. H1B visa spouse do not get work permit, but L1A spouse is L2. They get work visa. They don't have to work. They can be business owner. They can own multiple businesses. They can have jobs, multiple jobs, no restriction. The L1A has restriction. He has to work in his own company only until you get your green card. Then you're free. So the best way to get this L1A is register your company here, run your operation as a business, and run it for a few years, and try to show that you have steadily increased revenue, steadily increased employment. The number of employees also should grow from 5 to 7 to 10 to 15 and 20, and show that your profitability has also gone up. First year you made a profit of 2 lakhs, you paid 0 tax. Okay, next year made 5 lakhs, again 0 tax, no problem. Third year 10 lakhs, 5 lakhs tax exemption, 5 lakhs tax, pay it. But show that you're progressing, show that you are an employment generator. Those are the 2 words they're looking for. Everything else is just beating around the bush. Okay, your qualification, profit margin, how much tax you paid, nothing matters more than these 2 words. Are you an employment generator? People outside of India are scared of Indians because they feel we'll take away the job. They know that we are hardworking people. They know that we are willing to put more hours for less pay. Even though job is 8 hours, we are willing to do 10 hours and don't complain and still get paid only for 8 hours. That's just in our psyche. We are just like that. They know that. And so all employees in the world love Indian employees. And so employees of their own country are scared because they feel we'll take away their job. But as an employer, You're not taking away job, you are creating jobs. And in my case, the truth I had was very simple. I started with, 2 people, my manager and myself. Then we became 5. Remember, I told you my employee story. We became 5. I showed them that prior to me joining SPA, the SPA was making 100,000 revenue in 1 year. And within 1.5 years, we made yearly revenue 50% more to 150. And by the time, 3 years time, it was like 250,000, like 2.5 times revenue. So when I was able to show this progression, because it's truth, I have my bank statements to prove it. I'm not just filling up the blanks there, putting numbers from my mind. Of course, I rounded the figures, but I didn't lie. I had proof to back me up. The work permits of my employees, official work permits, I have a copy of them. They can verify with the labor department of the country how many people has worked for this fellow in 2005, 6, and 7. I could show them increase in employment, increase in revenue, increase in profitability. Trust me, 99%, your L1A is going to be approved. You can start your own business there. You don't have to spend the money the people like EB5 category spend. I spent nothing. The $100,000 spa, I paid her just 10,000 advance. That's all. I didn't pay anything more than that. That's how I started my journey in the US. Today, I have US passport. That's a different story. And I have, 3 spas, 25 to 30 employees. Everything is touchwood, too good to be true, frankly speaking. Yes, I put in whatever work was required. My philosophy is whatever it requires. How many tax IDs you want me to get? I will get that many tax IDs. What all work you want me to do? I will do. I want success. That's my, beach mantra. I want success. And for that, whatever work required, I'll do. And then it's not difficult to be successful. It's not difficult to reach where you want to see yourself. So this is possible in US. In other countries, I'm not too sure, but I know. Like in St. Martin also, I did the same. I went, hired an attorney. She filled up my application form because it's Dutch language. So she filled it up. I just applied all the English details. She translated into Dutch and whatnot. And it took 6 months, but I got my business visa. I got my work permit. I got my residency permit, everything in St. Martin also. You have to just go talk to the person. Say, hey, you know what? I want to do this. They'll help you. Everybody in the world, they like to help actually, as long as you don't ask for money. That's one help nobody likes to be asked for. But other than that, advice, guidance, everybody loves to do that. So that's possible and that's available. Many people, they say, I want to be my own boss. I want to be an owner, but I don't have the money to buy a business or to start a business. This is something I've encountered very often, and that's why I'm raising this question of my own. And frankly speaking, such people are not owner material, because you yourself have put a restriction, a wall in front of you. To be an owner, all you need is a decision, a steadfast decision, what I call as sankalp or sankalp mein dhrita in Hindi. You have to have a decision, and then you have to stick steadfastly to it. Once you've decided that you want to be an owner, yena kena prakarena, you will find ways. Yes, your ideas will come to you. I didn't have money too. You don't need money to start a business. You need the decision that you want to start a business. So then what I said, okay, I don't have money. That's a reality. If I had money, I would have bought the spa, the first spa. So if I don't have the money, what's the next possibility? I asked the boss, hey, listen, I thought I can borrow 10% of that price from others. I'll borrow it. I said, I'll pay you 10% and I'll pay you the rest within 3 years. He said he'll have to think about it and get back to me. I made this deal even more sweeter. I made the deal. I told him, I will pay you every month if I fail to pay you even for 1 month, listen to this carefully. If I fail to pay even one installment by the date of 5th of every month, all the monies I have paid you up until that point of time is yours, and the spa is also yours. I walk away empty-handed. Do you get it?
Damn risky.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
Is it clear? How can a business owner deny such a proposal?
Never.
Now he would love me to fail. He would say, come in. I'm giving him 10% already. I bought the first spa for $250,000. I paid him 25,000 by borrowing from 2-3 different people. Gave him, so he got 25,000 already. And every single month he's making around $6,000 solidly. Any day I fail, all of that is his, and the spa is also back to him. I took that risk. It was a foolish risk in a way. I had no choice. I didn't have a choice. I don't have the money. So what do? I have to find ways to make things happen. Rather than borrowing 250,000 from somebody on interest, this was less riskier to me. Do you get the point?
Yes.
There is risk everywhere. I could have borrowed 250. Frankly speaking, nobody would have lent me 250 at that point of time. Mushkil se I was able to borrow $25,000. So money is not the single or the primary criteria. Money is a part of the deal, is part of the game, but that's not the main game. Even when people looking for jobs, I tell people, don't look at the money, look at the value, look at the opportunity. There is something called as a cost, opportunity cost. There is a cost for the opportunity also. There's a value to it. If you look at only money, pardon my words, but even beggars make money. And those who look only at money, it's very hard to get very ahead in life. Money is automatic. It's not what you look for. You look for work. You look for job. You look for work. Work generates a value. When you have done work, you've conducted a yoga session for 1 hour. Okay, there is a value for that product now. That 1 hour of yoga session that you just conducted, there's a value for that session. Now, depending upon one person got benefited out of it, or 50 people got benefited out of that, the value may multiply. But inherently, there is a value for that session, and that value is what is translated into cash and money. That will be done according to the place. If I'm teaching in India, I may have to do it for 500 or 1,000 rupees an hour. If I'm doing it in the US, I can do it for $50, $60 an hour. It's the same yoga session. It's me. It's the same person, the same session. But based on the place, you're going to get paid. Never look at money, ever. Look at the opportunity. Look at the value. Then you can apply a price tag to that value. It's not difficult. Once you have your eyes set on a goal, you can't fail. Failure is not an option.
So I hope that today's session, what we are going to go through is, one thing is there, sir, like which I have learned personally, and I would make a point here also, and that is, I should not make a boundary in front of me, whatever the work would be. And that's the hardest thing which everyone do. It's not about a naturopath doctor, but any individual in this life would create that boundary, create the wall, or create a restriction that I cannot do. And the word I say, the time or moment I say I cannot do, I think I cannot do after that. So you have given that approach, that being nothing, and it's a learning by, because being a naturopathy doctor or being a BNYS doctor, you have covered all these things. So it's just the matter of confidence and the dedication that a doctor can achieve all these things. But I should not restrict to myself saying that I cannot achieve, I cannot do. And second thing is that, as you said, that the difficulties are always there, but risk is a very good thing which we should learn. So I have learned that take a risk, do whatever you want. Nothing will happen to you because you were good. And in Hindi, they say niyati should be good. So if your niyati is good, definitely you will achieve what you were saying, sir.
ट्रू. 2 चीजें बोलना चाहूंगा इसमें.
Yes, sir.
हिंदी में कहावत है, सर सलामत तो पगड़ी 50.
Yes.
ठीक है. So as long as you are alive, that's all that matters.
Yeah,
Nothing else matters.
definitely.
People have threatened me, close ones as well. Like, I can get you to become zero. I said, no problem. I started from zero. I can rebuild things any day.
That's the confidence.
No big deal.
Yeah.
No big deal. So that was one thing. When you use the word risk, an English proverb came to my mind, which is why I sorry to interrupt, but I interrupted you. One of, if you read the proverbs connected with the word risk, there are many. You'll come across this one also that I'm about to say. One of the biggest risks in life is not taking
risk. Yeah. So that is very true. We do not take it, so we do not know how it would be. First, let's do it, then see however it would be. So once again, I would say that, so you have given enough amount of time to all of us and those who are going to hear about this session. Definitely, I am inspired, not because of what you have said, but the word taking is we should do whatever we want to do, should not restrict ourselves. And definitely you have started your journey from 98. I am 98 born, sir. So definitely there's so many things to learn from you. And it's a pleasure for me to be connected with you from the day one. This is my day one with you. And the journey will be ahead in a very good way. And hope that we will learn every day or every time whenever we meet with you. And we will meet with you with something else because you have done so many things. I think you know the process of getting in the US also. That's also learning that how a person should be. Because being an Indian, we are always restricted that we cannot go there. Who will support us? Who will fund us? We do not have an account balance. There are so many myths which we come out from ourselves, which nobody told. So definitely it's a worth learning session from you, sir. And it's a pleasure for me to again say that it was a worth session and hope to connect you every day. That's my choice, but definitely we have to look for an opportunity to connect with you once again. So thank you so much, sir.
Very welcome, and all the very best to you for whatever your aims in life are.
Thank
and
you.
Also to all the listeners, whichever path you choose, there is nothing in life called as right or wrong. It's your choice, what you want to do with your life and where you want to see yourself 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, and so forth. And ultimately, I value peace and happiness. There is my personal wealth. I'm extremely wealthy person because my wealth comprises of 4 pillars: Sukh, Shanti, Samta, Samadhan. ये मेरे 4 धन हैं जो मुझसे कोई चोरी नहीं कर सकता. And that's why I call myself as a wealthy person. Forget the money part, rupee part, dollar part. It doesn't matter at all. And best of luck to everyone. And if I can be of any help to anyone, feel free to reach out. I will be happy to guide if you have any particular opportunities and whatever. If you have any questions, I think I've covered all the bases.
I think more than that, sir, what we have discussed.
I think so. But still, if there's any question, there are every situation is unique in itself.
Definitely.
So if you come across a situation which may appear slightly challenging or whatever, reach out and I can tell you, like suggest you what can be done in that given situation, so forth. But as you mentioned, learning is a lifelong process. We keep on learning until our last breath, as long as we're willing to. As long as we have that attitude, we'll keep on learning and improving.
And this session has been told me that we are with the two-face employee and employers. So
Yes.
it's a great learning, sir. Once again, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir.